thumbs up. That gardening and natural living show you didn't know you needed. The show where everybody's an expert. Nobody has all the answers, but together we get stuff growing. Now, we are slightly different to most gardening shows. In fact, we're quite different from every gardening show in that we have a segment called Nature's Apothecary. Now, unfortunately, sometimes things get carried away and we end up not doing the Nature's Apothecary because we also have our gloves on segment, and that's how we start our show, right? Always with gloves on, getting our gloves on, what to do in the garden this week. And this week, there's plenty things to do in the garden because it is springtime, right? Asfat, my sound engineer, this morning. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, brother?
Wa alaikum assalam. I am feeling splendid today. Very nice weather.
Oh, how marvelous.
Marvelous.
So absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes, it's Sunday after all.
Splendid.
Splendid. Awesome. That's how we like it. Full of energy and full of beans every morning, folks. That's how we must be. We must wake up to this wonderful world and say, wow, everything we might have been through in our life, we survived every single one of those things. You have a 100% survival rate. How's that for you? You've survived everything meant to kill you, including your grandparents, your great-grandparents, all of them. They all survived everything so that you could exist. So how amazing is that? And it's natural, right? It is nature. And we survive by taking care of our health and by taking care of our mental health and taking care of all those wonderful things that we are given in amana, we are given in stewardship, whether it's people, whether it's finances, whether it is our gardens, whether it is the planet. An interesting thing about the planet takes me to the very first thing I want to chat to you about today, and that is recent discoveries in 2024. In 2024, we had quite a few different discoveries. Now, in South Africa, we have very, very, very few mycologists in Africa that are actually documenting local biodiversity. What is a mycologist? Do you know, Asfat? You weren't here for that show. Mycologist?
No. Can you please enlighten me?
Yes, of course. A mycologist, old chap, is somebody what studies the mushrooms. All sorts of mushrooms.
That is very interesting.
Yes, so apparently there have been 2 new species of mushroom discovered in South Africa this year. Professor Jacobs says there were only a handful of mycologists in Africa, and indeed there are only a handful. And they have discovered these 2 species of psilocybin. There seems to be a phone ringing, Asfat. Is there a phone ringing? I wonder why. Who's trying to get a hold of us? Well, I tell you what, if you're trying to reach us this morning and you want to talk gardening, go ahead and call us on 0861 904 904. There we go. Go and call us on 0861
061
Yes.
904 1056.
Wow. Thank you, 105. You mean I've been giving people the wrong number for the last year? Oh, Asfat. How on earth? No wonder nobody was ringing the telling phone. There was a ghost phone ringing in the background there. 0861 904 1056 or WhatsApp us this morning on 060 904 1056. There we go. You can WhatsApp us. And here's a secret that I was told this morning about our phone number. I did not know this. You know how our number is 0861 904 1056, right? And you know how our WhatsApp number is 060 904 1056. Here's the thing. Our FM in Durban is 904, 90.4. And our FM in Pietermaritzburg is 105.6. So take 904, take 105.6, and there you have our phone number. Isn't that easy? 0861 904 1056. Getting back to the discoveries. They discovered, of course, these 2 new psilocybin mushrooms. Unfortunately, these are those magic mushrooms that are being studied for their medicinal properties. So in the show, we talk about everything because it is important to be informed, to be educated, which is one of the 2 core values of Radio Al-Ansar. Then something very interesting that happened just 3 weeks ago. Did you know? This is fascinating. That researchers have discovered the secrets of plant, wait for it, puberty. Yes, Asfat looks at me like I just broke the vase. Yes, plant puberty. And that is their genetic changes that happen in plants from the development that can be equated to puberty. So this means that if we can understand what stage our plant is it at a vegetative stage or is it at a reproductive stage, then we can better have crop nutrition, because we know that our NPKs change depending on whether the plant is needing leaves, whether it's needing flowers, or whether it's needing fruit. And it literally goes N, that's the leaves, P, that's for your flowers, and K, that is for your fruit. So if we can understand what stage they are at, then it makes it much easier for us, because the fruit really is what? It's the inside the flower is the reproductive organs, and the fruit is literally being built to protect the little seeds so that the plant can reproduce itself. How amazing is that? Now, I want to talking about this, I want to talk about a plant. And as I say, we are here to inform and to educate. So by all means, WhatsApp us your comments. I want to talk about a plant called cannabis. And the reason I want to raise the idea of cannabis on this show is because if we consider that all plants have natural elements to it, we are not saying that you should go out and have cannabis. That is not what we are saying. But we are saying that it's important to know what's going on in the world. And there is a huge amount of evidence rising on the benefits, for instance, of hemp, which is the non-psychoactive version. Now, whether you're looking at hemp or you're looking at a sativa dominant cannabis hybrid or an indica dominant cannabis hybrid, there is a very important aspect of growing these plants, and that is that they have a vegetative state and they have a flowering state. And in order to grow, whether it's hemp, which is non-psychoactive, or cannabis, which is used for medicinal purposes, you still need to know what to do in the vegetative stage and what to do in the flowering stage. And one of the most important things is this feeding of either the leaves or the flowers, or towards the end of it, you're wanting to get your trichomes, to grow and flourish, whatever. You might want to add different things. But it's so important. It's almost like the moment I read this, I thought, oh my gosh, there's been so much research and time spent on understanding the vegetative versus flowering stage of cannabis and of hemp. Why has this not been done for other plants? Right? Because it's true. The plant has to grow. It has to be strong enough to support its flowers and stronger still to support the fruit. And sometimes when we have a plant that flowers, it's flowering because it's giving up the ghost. And it's like, I need to reproduce myself before I expire. And then it pushes out a flower. Happens a lot with orchids. Your orchids have all these wonderful flowers. And the next thing, she's gone. It's dead. Ooh, gone. Bye-bye. Why? Because the flower was just there to say, hello, how's it? I'm dying now. Thanks for being with me all my life. See, that is what the flower was doing. And if we understand the difference between the vegetative and the flowering or the fruiting stages and what that particular plant needs, we A for a way. We don't need no genetically modified crops. You all know how I feel about that, right? So I tell you what. Let's have a vote. If you would like to learn more about cannabis on this show, I can give you the lowdown and I can explain everything to you, and I can tell you how the plant grows, what are the various properties, what medically are they used for, how are they being used, what research has been done. Let me know, yes or no. Would you like to hear about it, or do you think no? Give me your vote on 060 904 1056. Yes or no? Is it a thumbs up? Is it a thumbs down to learning about cannabis on this show? I've helped several women to grow their own and make their own medicine, particularly for things like aches and pains externally, and then, of course, more serious issues like cancer. Now, going back to some the other research that was done, which is completely different. Don't forget to WhatsApp yes or no on the cannabis story. Did you know? What does that sound like? It's a frog. Okay. It's a very bad frog. It's fine. It's a frog, okay? You can do better. Show me. Ribbit.
I'd rather not.
You'd rather not. Okay, don't throw your name away over that. Our top. Don't throw your name away. So the giant fanged frog has been discovered. And it has been recognized finally in the Philippines because it was nearly identical to even larger species. Now, when frogs start to have teeth, you must know there's something going down in the world. And I honestly think all of this genetic modification is responsible for a lot of things. But in this case, it's not. In this case, basically, there was a froggy. And this little froggy was misdiagnosed as a different froggy. Shame. So, yeah, they didn't know. But there he is, the giant fanged frog. A giant fanged frog in Philippines. Yes, there he is. Right. So, in the garden this week, now we've spoken about some discoveries in the garden this week. Did you know September is the month of spring? But the spring equinox only happens on the 21st of September. Until the spring equinox, it is anybody's game, whether it shall rain or wind, blastering sun or blistering heat. It's anybody's guess, because September is the spring month, but the equinox is only on the 21st. So if you've planted stuff in, good on you, because you're probably going to catch the early rains. And this is what the farmers used to do before. They would plant just before the equinox so that they knew that that's when the big rains were coming. And if you catch that first big rain, then your crop's chances are much, much higher of growing bigger and growing in quantity, right? But September in South Africa is also Heritage Month, and it marks our nation's diverse culture and heritage. Now, heritage. Talk to me about the heritage in terms of gardening. What plants, vegetables, flowers did your nanny and daddy and mom and dad grow that you remember from your culture? Oh, all this homework. WhatsApp us 0609041056. What did they grow? You see, I grew up a little poorer, so obviously it's the cabbage. Like, you know, it's a no-brainer. For us, it's cabbage because we're from the cabbage patch. And it's a special type of cabbage that we ate at the end of the year called a pinka. Now, pinka, think of those big round cabbages that you buy at the corner store. We shall not mention the names, but where the leaves are open, they're not curled out into a ball. The big leaves. And it's quite bitter. Quite a bitter cabbage, but it's really a great cabbage for you. The other thing I grew up with, of course, being Portuguese, is garlic. Garlic. We all like garlic. Garlic is great for what? Garlic is great for parasites, intestinal worms. It's great for cholesterol. Take a clove of garlic with a glass of water in the morning. If you have cholesterol, every single day, you can actually take one before every meal. Now, watch out if you have acid reflux, then you might need to halve that garlic clove because it may irritate the gastric reflux. Okay, it may cause a little bit of irritation in the stomach. If you have a lazy stomach valve, it also may cause a little irritation. But if you were to persist with this at a lower dosage, you would find that it would actually heal the gut, and it may actually heal that gastric reflux. Why? Because garlic is a healer. Garlic is an anti-inflammatory, it's an antibiotic, it's an antiviral. And speaking of this, I know that yesterday I spoke at a function, and I can't mention the function, but I spoke at a function, and I had so many ladies come up to me and say to me, oh, we love your show. We listen to your show on a Sunday. I'm like, oh, cool. That's great. Alhamdulillah. Subhanallah. But you know what? We're sitting with our pens and we're waiting. We're waiting for that natural healing stuff. So for those of you sitting with your pens, we're going to take a very quick ad break just now after I tell you what you can grow this week. And I'm going to come back after that ad break, and I hope you have your pens ready because we're going to nature apothecarize you all, and you're going to just love it. So remember to WhatsApp the yes or no on the cannabis to us. You've got our number 060 904 1056. And so that's a yes or a no. And tell us, what were the plants your parents used to grow? This week in the garden, what should you be doing? Well, lettuce, chicory, pumpkins, tomatoes, carrots, all are great. Beans, sweet corn, baby marrows, beans, all your gem squashes, your carrots, your onions, your radishes, your spring onions, and your beetroots can go directly into garden beds. So if you have put them in seed trays, go ahead and put them out in your garden beds. I worked on my garden beds this weekend, and also planted out some of my seeds into seed trays. I like to put it into seed trays because sometimes when the stuff is germinating in your garden bed, you don't know now, are you a vegetable or are you a weed? Which one shall I pull out? We don't know until they get bigger. So that's what you're doing in the garden. We're going to that ad break and we're coming back. So grab your pens. We'll be right back after this.
You've tried the rest, now come to the best. Vodacom shop for smartphones, tablets, laptops, routers, SIM cards, gaming, and the latest accessories to complete the look. Home and business internet to ensure that you have the best connection everywhere you go. Plug and play to fully installed fiber. Our infrastructure provides a resilient platform for your critical business applications, which will help your business perform best. Get the right amount of everything. Vodacom shop at the Pavilion Entrance 6, Westwood Mall, Bluff Towers, The Workshop, Umlazi Megacity, City View, Bridge City Komashu, Brookside Mall Pietermaritzburg, and the Nelson Mandela Square Sandton.
Join Huda SA as we raise funds to complete phase 2 of the finishes of the Ilovo Masjid construction. We humbly request your generous Sadaqah Ejariya and Lillah donations. Your contribution helps build a masjid and earn everlasting rewards. For more information, contact Huda SA on 031 271 3049 or visit www.huda-int.org. Act now and earn your share of sawab. Donate today. Huda SA, building communities, strengthening faith.
Advertising pays. Get your business on the map through advertising with Radio Al Ansar, the station with a proven record. Let's check with Simplex Radio to find out the impact on their business by advertising with Radio Al Ansar.
For us, it works very well. Our sales have increased and more people know about our store. I would definitely recommend advertising on Radio Al Ansar anytime.
There you have it. Join the airwaves and take it up to another level. Call us on 031 208 1601 and ask for Fatima Shahina or Faraz Bucks, our consultants. Let your name be heard by thousands of people. Radio Al Ansar, your partner in business.
Are you or a loved one battling the disease of addiction? Is your family, life, relationships, work suffering due to alcoholism and substance abuse? Zensai Treatment, Recovery and Wellness Center are addiction specialists offering specialized psychotherapy and naltrexone therapy to help overcome addiction. Zensai offers hotel-style facilities to allow your loved ones to regain their dignity and overcome alcoholism and drug abuse in the most comfortable setting possible. Fight addiction. Call Zensai Treatment, Recovery and Wellness Center, the addiction recovery specialist on 031 563 0751.
Imagine a place where luxury knows no bounds. This September, Al Ansar presents the Diamond Walk at Saxony Westwood Mall, an affair where the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. From September 26th to 29th, journey through a world of refined taste and unmatched elegance. Discover the newest culinary masterpieces, be captivated by the latest fashion, and lose yourself in the allure of the Dawood Entertainment stage. We invite you to indulge in life's most exquisite pleasures. And yes, it's all within your reach. Welcome to the Diamond Walk, where your VIP dreams come true.
Getting green through your day. Radio Al Ansar.
And we're back to Green Thumbs Up, and we are talking all things natural. We've had a few messages came in the meantime. So far, we've got 3 votes on yes to a cannabis program. Yes to a cannabis program. That's 3 votes on my personal cell phone. Those of you who have my number are also messaging me. Please do me a favor and introduce yourselves, folks. I'd love to know who all's messaging me. Just like, salams, your name, and like yes or no. So overwhelming yes, yes, and yes so far to the cannabis program, talking about all things cannabis. So we are now dedicating the rest of this show to Nature's Apothecary, because this has been requested by so many people, and it's something we get all the time. Nature's Market Day, I was asked, please do more Nature's Apothecary. You people meet me at Discam, meet me at the shops, you meet me at the things. It's like, I want more. So you got your pens and papers. We're going to be talking about 3 main things. The first thing I want to talk about is the importance of bitter herbs, what they are and how they help you. Second thing I want to talk to you about is a thing called berberine. And if you're seeing us on Facebook, I will show you the one that I use. I'm going to cover the brand because we're not here to advertise, but this is the one that I use. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, this is the one I currently have. The idea with berberine is to turn the bottles on the back, and it must say 500 milligrams berberine. It should not say complex and blah-de-blah and monosodiums and whatever, nothing at all. We're going to get to berberine as well. And then I want to talk to you about castor oil. Yes, castor oil. Every single time I talk about castor oil on my TikToks, and you can find me as Life Coach Rabia, it literally goes viral. And that is because people often do not know how important castor oil is to our lives and the benefits that it has for us. So stay tuned. And if you know any of these and you have any tips on any of these, you know what to do. You know what today. You got a WhatsApp us on 060 904 1056. So bitter herbs. The fact that they are bitter means they taste bitter. They are not great for the taste buds, but they are really, really great for our bodies. One of them, of course, is stinging nettle. Now, stinging nettle, as the name says, stings. But stinging nettle is one of those immune boosters, like garlic, that is also bitter, but it's one of those immune boosters that actually kills off microbes, bacterias, and even viruses, particularly in the urinary tract. So if you're coming down with a UTI, if you tend to have bladder stones, these kinds of things, please consider stinging nettle, a cup of stinging nettle tea. And I should probably have done this disclaimer. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, please avoid all herbs. If you have health conditions, please consult with your medical doctors. Everything we give you here is for educational purposes. Please let us allow common sense to prevail. I know it's rare, I know, but let us allow it to prevail. Common of sense. Right, so stinging nettle is a bitter herb, and it actually is excellent for us, for our urinary tract. What stinging nettle can affect, however, is the liver. So if you're trying to fix your bladder issues, but you got a little bit of a liver condition, then just monitor how you're reacting to stinging nettle. Stinging nettle is one of those plants that, honestly, if I could tell you you've got a big plantation, you've got to grow something that's going to help me to do some sort of industry, I would say two things: stinging nettle or hemp. That's what I would tell you to grow. Hemp, because it cleans out the biome. It is also a bitter herb. It cleans out the biome in the earth. It actually regenerates, bringing in good bacteria, positive bacteria that we need to help things to grow. So when soil is barren, throw some compost on there. Hemp will grow on almost barren earth. But what it'll do is it'll regenerate the biome in the earth itself. The hemp, we've got, like the stinging nettle, it is an anti-inflammatory. Like the stinging nettle, the skin on the stalk, so the outer layer of the main stem of the branches and the main stem can be used to make paper, can be used to make fabric. And it's the kind of fabric that never say die. It's an ever ready. It is hemp and it is stinging nettle. They have properties in terms of building your immune system. They have properties in terms of working. Recent studies are showing that they're actually working on a DNA level in your body. So that's really great. If they are helping to kind of regenerate or rejigger your DNA, part of a youth regeneration system, then you know what? Maybe there is something in there that we actually need to be taking. So here are some more bitter herbs. Your dandelion. Dandelion, you know, the ones where you pluck out the little stem and there's got that little pom-pom of white flowers and you blow on it and go, what's the time in fairyland? What's the time in fairyland? Us kids used to do that. I mean, Gen Xers, we wanted to know the time in fairyland. We don't know what that is, but anyway, kids, we used to enjoy doing that. Its benefits: vitamins A, vitamin C, vitamin K. It supports your liver health. It supports your kidney health. And it is an anti-inflammatory. Not only that, but dandelion coffee is a spectacular substitute for coffee which has less caffeine, and you're getting all the benefits of immune boosting, aiding digestion, liver and kidney regeneration. To make your dandelion coffee, pop the plant out the ground. You're going to need a fork because the root runs deep. It looks like a carotas, one big carrot. And you're going to wash it. You're going to snip off those tiny little roots that come off the sides. You're going to wash it nicely, chop it up into little pieces, put it into your oven at 70 degrees for 1 to 2 hours until it is dry. Or you can put it into a pan and roast it if you like that way. Be careful not to burn it. It's easier to burn in a pan. And then you can grind it and make yourself some dandelion coffee. Now, these coffee substitutes out there, decaf coffees, things are so expensive. Dandelion is a weed, folks. Grows everywhere. You can put the leaves, the young leaves, into salads. You can actually use the leaves in candies as well. They give that tiny little bit of a bitterness that goes along with the sweetness as well. Burdock root. Burdock is a detoxifier. Burdock grows rampant in South Africa very easily. It's full of antioxidants. It improves your digestion. Antioxidants always think aging, reverse aging. We've then got wormwood, and wormwood brings me to one of the most important herbs, most important things that we should do with our health, and that is to get rid of parasites. Folks, you'll hear me say it over and over again. You got worms. You got worms. If children are sleeping with their eyes open, they may have worms. If children keep scratching their little bums, they probably have worms. If you as an adult are finding that you have an itch, you probably have worms. You may not have any indication that you have worms, but you may be feeling consistently hungry, consistently tired, experiencing hair loss. You may have worms. You may find that you've got unexplained aches and pains. You've got an unexplained bloating. You've done your gluten intolerance checks. You've checked for all sorts of things with the doctors. You probably have worms. So wormwood, Artemisia, wormwood is an amazing plant for deparasiting, for getting rid of parasites. And if you remember, during the planardemics, guess what they were saying we shouldn't be taking, huh? What were they saying? Wormwood, Artemisia, stop the Artemisia, stop the ivermectin. Remember how they told us all of that? I said from the beginning, Corona was a parasitic thing. Yes, a virus is a parasite. If you look at it, it has parasitic qualities. Don't come at me. It's not an actual parasite, but it has parasitic qualities because the whole point of it is to attach, dump its DNA, and die. So it can reproduce. And then they attach, dump their DNA, and try. Got a message from Sister Fatima Effendi. You must be really healthy with all these herbs. Assalamu alaikum. Actually, yes. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So wormwood is one of those things that you can use. Now, you get different types of wormwood. So shall I say you get different types of Artemisia, because wormwood is a type of Artemisia. You get the sweet wormwood, okay? And then you get the Artemisia afra, which is the one that grows crazy wild in South Africa, also known as wilde als. That is the one for parasites. Subhanallah, think of it. Africa is the place where, because of poverty, because of colonialism, calling a stick and a spade, there is a lot of poorer communities. And unfortunately, parasites do thrive there because your conditions are not as clean as they could be, because children are playing out in the dirt, and they should, and you should. But then here you have parasites, and you have the country where this wormwood actually grows wild. It grows wild. So wilde als, wild wormwood, is brilliant, not only to treat digestive disorders, it also alleviates bloating, and it's going to stimulate your appetite slightly. So if you're trying to lose weight, you might want to go with pawpaw seeds instead for parasites. Also very bitter. You can take a tablespoon as an adult of pawpaw seeds with a glass of water in the morning and another in the evening, or you can mix equal parts of pawpaw seeds and honey together, mash it all together, And then you can take 2 tablespoons of that. Messages come in. My neighbor too grows wilde als. Wonderful. Alhamdulillah. So you see, she's onto something. If your neighbor grows wilde als, ask her for a little slippy key, a little slip, a little, a little cutting, and you can grow it from a cutting. Now, its antiparasitic properties really are powerful, but you can replace it, as I say, with pawpaw seeds. And the other thing that you could use is berberine, which one of the things that I'm going to be talking about today extensively is berberine. So wormwood you can take for parasites. The other thing you can take, if you're watching me on Facebook, I'm showing you, but I know you know what these are. These are cloves. So all you have to do is take a clove, pop it in your mouth. Not only is it great for sore throats, post-nasal drips, coughs, and flus, anything in the respiratory system, because a clove is an antiseptic. It's also great for teeth. But it's going to help to kill off those parasites in your intestines. Then you have another spice that's probably in your home cabinet somewhere, and that is the star anise. It is known as star anise, for it looks like a star. She is shining bright like a diamond in the sky, but not. It's on the ground. And it is star anise. Lends a wonderful flavor to sweet treats. It is absolutely wonderful. And you can have this for parasites too. So you could make a tea. How would you use your cloves and your anise? You could put them in your mouth and suck on them throughout the day. Let them soften and then spit them out. Or you could actually make yourself a cup of tea. A cup of tea would be equal parts of cloves. So measure this on a scale. Cloves, star anise, and African wormwood, which I don't have here, or sweet wormwood if you have it. Measure those quantities together, and then you're going to put them into a little container and store them in your home apothecary. And when you're wanting to do an anti-parasitic tea, then you're going to take 1 teaspoon of this whole mixture together, put it into a cup with boiling water, let it stand for 10 minutes, and then strain it and sip it. Question coming in, can you eat pawpaw with the seeds? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And you should. Understand pawpaw is going to make your tummy work, and it may also create a lot of flatulence. So people who are prone to allergies, people who have a very strong histamine response to things in general, and you'll know if this is you, then you want to go gently on the pawpaw seeds. Go slow, because they can be very potent. They can give you a lot of gas. Okay, so these are some of the bitter herbs we've spoken about. We've spoken about deparasiting, and now I want to talk to you about the bentonite. Why do I want to talk about bentonite? Because if there is anything that you could be, should be, want to be taking in your life, probably potentially is berberine. Berberine is a plant chemical. Okay, it's a compound more than a chemical. It looks like a yellow powder, so it can also be used as a dye. And it comes from various plants, one of which being the bushes, berberine bushes. So this is where the berberine comes from. But why is it so important? I'm actually trying to find my place over here. Why is it berberine so important? First of all, berberine helps to balance your blood sugar. So if you are diabetic and you are on glucophage or you're on metformin, you're on all of these medicines, berberine has been touted to be the organic version of metformin. Do not come off of your medications without consulting with a medical doctor. But what you could do, and I have done this for clients working alongside their doctors, is to slowly ease off the insulin and slowly increase the berberine. How do you start? You start with 500 milligrams. So when you buy your berberine, turn the bottle around and look on the back, and it must say berberine, 500 milligrams, nothing else. It should not say, oh, it's a complex and it contains this and bloody-goddy, bloody-gaddy-dooby-dums. We don't need any of that bloody-gooby-dub-dums. We need only berberine. Now, it is going to be an anti-parasitic. It does. It helps to get rid of parasites. But berberine is also a prebiotic, probiotic, postbiotic. What does it mean? It means it encourages good bacteria to be born in your gut. It feeds the good bacteria that exists in your gut. And then what does it do? It inspires your good bacteria that is in your gut to reproduce and make babas. So it feeds them, gives them nutrition, encourages them to flourish. And we need bacteria in our body. We need good bacteria. I sometimes see moms and it's like, oh, don't touch that. Don't touch the ground. Don't play with mud. Don't look at your fingers. They're so dirty. Do you know the biome in the earth, all those bacteria are so really good for us. The only way we build an immune system is by getting sick. The only way we get stronger is by going through challenges. Easier as a kid because kids fight off infections a lot faster. So let the kids play. Let them play in the sand. Let them play in the soil. Let them have fun. Now, berberine is going to, as I say, work as an anti-parasitic. It's also going to work on your diabetes. So decreasing insulin resistance, making blood sugar lowering hormone insulin more effective. Well, how do we become insulin dependent? How does it be that we have to suddenly take insulin? Do you know, Asfat? What makes you insulin dependent? Need to take insulin.
Please enlighten me.
Okay. So insulin is released the moment you eat something that's going to turn into sugar in your body or glucose.
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
So when you eat something that's going to turn into sugar in your body, your pancreas secretes insulin to say, open the cells and feed that energy to the cells. But the way we're eating nowadays, we're constantly eating, we're snacking. So when you snack, you get a glycemic rise. So imagine a little peak, a little whoops. There your glucose goes up in your body, and then you're eating again and whoops, it goes up again, and then you're snacking again and whoops, it goes up again. Our body was not meant to live with so much insulin going into our body. So the cells start to say, hey, don't bring that key over here, huh? Don't bring it and come. I don't want that insulin. That is poison now. Don't want it.
So basically you're saying it speeds up the process of glycolysis.
Yes, but the problem is that your body becomes resistant to it. And so you need higher and higher and higher doses in order for your cells to actually receive the energy and the feeding that comes from that. Now, what berberine does is to help to balance that glycemic response. Okay, so you don't have such a spike regardless of what you eat. Rita says, can you send me a picture of the berberine bottle? Yes, I will send you a picture of my berberine bottle. I am going to cover the brand though, because I'm not spreading a brand. I'm spreading the news and the information. Look on the back of the bottle. It needs to say 500 milligrams of berberine. That's all it needs. Now, it's not only going to decrease your insulin resistance, it's going to slow down the breakdown of carbohydrates in your gut, which means if your digestive system is slowly breaking down the carbohydrates, whatever carbohydrates you've eaten, stuff that turns to sugar, what it means then is you stay feeling fuller for longer. Plus now you've got increased good bacteria in your body. So it's going to help you to lose weight. In 2008, 116 people with diabetes took 1 gram of berberine per day. That's 1,000 milligrams. And they lowered their fasting sugar by 20%. Okay. There are even some studies, 14 studies I counted, where berberine can be as effective as certain oral diabetes drugs, including metformin, glipizide, and rosiglitazone. So berberine really is one of those things that is brilliant. If you combine it with certain lifestyle changes, you will lose weight, even during menopause or andropause. What be this andropause of which you speak? Because we all know about menopause. Well, menopause, although it's called menopause, it's actually for the ladies. And andropause is what happens to the gents. So this happens at the same time. Another message, please send me details of berberine that we should buy for our health system. The berberine that you should buy, B-E-R. B-E-R-I-N-E. You need to first assess your pocket because you do not have to go for the most expensive thing out there. Second, assess how much of it you're wanting to take. If you want to take 500 milligrams a day, only in the evening because you're trying to lose weight or because you're wanting to sleep better, because it does help to improve your circadian rhythms as well, then 500 milligrams half an hour before bed is enough. If you're wanting to lose weight faster and you are trying to regulate your insulin and you're working with your medical doctor, then you're going to take 500 milligrams 3 times a day. It does not matter, ladies and gents, the berberine that you take, the brand. The only brand I do not like is one called Genologics. I just don't like it. I've used it myself. But berberine, you can take any brand, look on the back, even on the pictures when you buy it online. Turn it around, look at the back, 500 milligrams berberine. That's all you need. Now, people in a 12-week study that took 500 milligrams of berberine 3 times a day, lost 15 kilos in 12 weeks. 15 kilos. So it decreases your total cholesterol. It decreases your bad cholesterol. It improves or increases your good cholesterol, and it decreases your blood triglycerides. It's also known to lower something called a polypoprotein. A polypoprotein, and that is an important risk factor for heart disease. So it lowers that. So it lowers your risk for heart disease. Message here, do you use the berries? So you don't use the berries from the trees. No, I've received a picture of 2 trees of plants that contain berberine. Please do not consume fruits that you are not familiar with just because they contain berberine. Often berberine needs to be extracted from those plants, and it's not kind of just a berry that you can eat. So be careful with that. Berberine also reduces depression. And test tube as well as animal studies show that it reduces the growth of and the spread of various cancers. And I want to ask you why. Why? Because a cancer cell has twice the amount of sugar receptors as a normal, healthy cell. And what does berberine do? Berberine stops the sugar cravings. Berberine slows down that sugar spike that you're getting every time that you are eating carbohydrates. So there you go. That is why it works to beat cancer. Not only that, but berberine actually remakes your veins, your arteries from the inside out. It literally rebuilds your veins and your arteries. So if you have high blood pressure, if you have low blood pressure, if you have heart disease, talk to your doctor and ask them, is it safe and is it okay for you to go on to berberine? And if they say to you, no, you don't need all of that nonsense, that natural stuff, then say to them, yes, but can I still take it? No, but you don't need it because you're on medication. Yes, but can I still take it? No, but seriously, it's okay. You really don't need it. I've got you. Can I take it? Because medical doctors, not all of them are comfortable with natural healing, and then they don't give you that information because they stick to what they know. Okay, so Fatima's asking, how do you make the tea? So you must be talking about the parasite tea. You're going to take equal quantities of your star anise and your cloves and your wilde als or your wormwood, and you're going to mix them all up together. Then you're going to take 1 teaspoon of that and add that to a cup of boiling water, or put a cup of water in a pot and raise it to a boil with the stuff in it. As soon as it boils, put the lid on and put it away and switch off the heat, and then strain it after 10 minutes. I want to move on to castor oil because castor oil is also one for the gut health and for anti-aging. Now, externally, castor oil is wonderful for wrinkles, pigmentation, dark skin marks, even to some extent, things like pityriasis, vesicular pityriasis, rosacea, to rosacea as well on your face. It is absolutely wonderful. Question here, is berberine a tea? No, berberine arrives in a capsule format. It is not a tea. Do not try to make tea with plants that contain berberine because we must use our common sense, folks. It needs to be processed first, right? There we go. So castor oil, if you're going to apply it to your face in the evenings, that's going to help to ease off wrinkles. If you apply it to your feet and you've got cracked heels, those cracked heels are going to seal and they are going to be smooth as a baby's bum all over again, because that is what castor oil does to your skin. A question, Assalamu alaikum, is it okay for overall health to take berberine? I have 1 capsule daily. Absolutely, yes, it is okay, as long as your doctor agrees that there's no contraindications for you, such as, for instance, you're not on blood you don't have hypercoagulation, where your blood is either very thin and then it's very thick and then it's very thin and then it's doing this whole dance for you and trying to trick you. Right. So Sister Razia here says, send me the details of the berberine that we should buy for our health system. Any berberine. Walk into a health store, say to them, I want berberine, and then turn the bottle around and look and say, does it say berberine 500 milligrams? Yes. Does it say other stuff? No, we don't want the other stuff. A message from Fatima Nur Mohammed. Very interesting program. Can you advise where I can get berberine, please? Google is your friend. The nature shops next to you is your friend. I can't give you the name of the big green store because I don't know who they're supporting nowadays, and quite frankly, anyone who's not supporting Palestine, I'm not supporting either. So I don't know, but try some of the stores, the health stores. What brand of berberine should we get? So many fakes out there. Another message. Yes, what you're wanting to do is look on the back of the bottle. Does it say berberine 500 milligrams? If it says anything else, don't get it. Okay, don't get it. Fatima, also need the recipe for deworming. Let's do that again for you. I'm going to have to go into castor oil next week because we're running out of time. That is cloves, star anise, and wormwood. You can get wormwood from any natural store, from health stores as well. And you're going to take equal quantity. So you're going to measure, get a little scale. And if you got 20 grams of one, 20 grams or 50 grams or 100 grams of each or 500 grams of each, you put these 3 together, you mixy. Then you take a teaspoon of it, put it into boiling water, let it stand for 10 minutes. Or put it into a pot that's got a cup of water in, raise it to boiling, switch off the heat, put on the lid and let it get cool. And then you sip it. You take it every day. Now, we keep getting this question over and over, folks. So guess what? Go and listen to the Facebook recording because it's going to be on there. Shanaz Sheikh, salam alaikum, wa alaikum salam, mashallah, wonderful topic. Jazakallah. Fatima, ma for inconvenience, not at all, my darling, not at all. We've repeated it many times. It's going to be on the Facebook for you. We'll ask our marketing manager to crop it, or you can find it on my TikTokies if you want to. That's Life Coach Rabia. You'll find it all on there. Castor oil taken internally is completely dangerous for pregnant and breastfeeding women. Do not do it. However, if you're not pregnant or breastfeeding, castor oil will help to clean out your tummy, and internally it's going to heal you. So you can apply castor oil compresses for all sorts of lumps, bumps, growths, spurs on your heel. You get those spurs on your heel, on the Achilles tendon, spurs under your foot, little bony growths. Put it on, wrap it on there in fabric. It is going to literally melt those things away. Cataracts, put it in your eyes. Yes. So we've got another message here. The best to lose weight. It's fast. I'm diabetic, but I'm doing great. Alhamdulillah. That's wonderful. I had an educational show today. Learned so much. Please continue like this again. So it seems like y'all love the Nature's Apothecary. And I shall be back next week with more of that Nature's Apothecary. But in the meantime, I'm going to say to you, castor oil, if you've got rheumatic pains or arthritis pains, put the castor oil on there. And if your pain is really bad, add some cayenne pepper into the castor oil and then put it on there because it's going to heal the pain almost immediately. That's all I've got time for. I've got 1 minute to go. And Sister Salma KW is waiting with the Sunday Lounge. She's going to bring you those beautiful nasheeds. Until next week, keep those messages coming. There's a few more messages that has come in asking about berberine and castor oil. I will deal with them next week for you. I was told it helps with pinched nerve. Yes, it does. We will address that next week as well. Farah, Jazakallah for your message from me. Until next week, from the team. And Jazakallah to my sound engineer, Asfath, and to the team at Al Ansar from us. Assalamu alaikum.
wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Super duper duper dee day. Yeah, no, people love.
Radio Al Ansar, 24/7, 365.
An informative Islamic global perspective. This is Al Ansar News.
Making news at 10, former President Jacob Zuma told mourners at a memorial service for 6 MK party members yesterday that he did not know how his relationship with Pravin Gordhan soured. Good morning, I'm Tabile Duma. Former President Jacob Zuma told the mourners at a memorial service for 6 MK party members yesterday that he did not know how his relationship with Pravin Gordhan soured. Gordhan, the founding commissioner of the South African Revenue Service, twice our finance minister and the face of the resistance against the project of state capture, widely believed to have been led by Zuma and the Gupta brothers, died on Friday morning. He was 75. Zuma and Gordhan, who had been appointed by the former president as his first finance minister, fell out at the height of state capture. The then president fired Gordhan and his deputy Mcebisi Jonas and reshuffled his